Now, turning to our first guest is Deborah Shore, the founder and executive director of Sasha Bruce Youth Work. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the show. Deborah, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, well, if there's ever a time we need to have you on our show, it's right now. One, because of the fact that, as you shared, Sasha Bruce is about to celebrate its 50th anniversary. And the work that you've been doing for the past 50 years, we just want to make sure our community understands the critical role you play in actually helping our young people. So, let's talk about the anniversary really quickly, and then we're going to go and talk about what you all have been working on and what you see is happening with young people in our city.
Okay. Well, the anniversary is so exciting. We're going to have a great gala celebration at the Washington Building Museum. And we really see this as both an opportunity to celebrate all that we've done for the last 50 years. I can't believe that I'm saying that at all. But also to help to bolster ourselves and for the next period of time, for the next chapter. And to really, look forward and build a greater foundation on which the organization will continue.
And I think that takes us, well, one, congratulations on your 50th. You're an organization that's really based upon need. It's here because of the need. If Sasha Bruce or young people in the city didn't need the services, you wouldn't have to be around. So tell us about Sasha Bruce and what you do offer to the community and particularly young people.
Thank you. Bruce has a number of programs, all of which center around helping young people who are in their adolescence and are having some difficulty in their lives. So we focus on homeless young people, but we don't only focus on helping them to be safe. We focus on trying to reunite them with their families whenever possible. We also have done a lot of going upstream. So we have a number of programs in different neighborhoods, Ballou High School, Clay Terrace, as a way to try to prevent the ruptures that happen and the difficulties that happen for young people, and to keep them in school and in their neighborhoods. Because we really see that, we have such incredible young people, so much resilience, so much capacity, but they can become really derailed. And we know this. And so we do a lot of work to surround them with life skills and supports. Mental health. It's really interesting. Young people are really asking for mental health supports more than they used to. And, anything, workforce training, helping them to change the trajectory of their lives towards becoming contributing members of our world.
Now, Debbie, how does Sasha Bruce and the young people that you work with, how do you connect? I mean, how do they end up on your doorstep, or how do you end up on theirs?
Well, we have a lot of programs that are in communities. And so we do everything that we can. We do a lot of outreach to young people, but we also make it known through social media. And, DC is a place where, people are very connected to one another. And so we've been around a long time. So it's amazing how many young people come to the door of the shelter where we have the only shelter in Washington for under 18-year-olds, and who just find us. And so we do all that we can to make sure that they know what we have available. And of course, we are in a number of schools. And so we do a lot of presentations to help them to know.
Yeah. And can you really give us a picture, a snapshot of, what's happening with young folks? I mean, we talk a lot about the crime and other, unproductive activities that they're involved in. But, you've been at this for a while, and we had a pandemic, I'm sure, that had an impact. We've come out of that. But I mean, if you were to compare where we are today to maybe, 10 years ago, Are we finding a way to really better assist these young folks, or is the problem worsening? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that we are out of the pandemic, is true, and yet I think a lot of young people are still in reaction to the pandemic, are still dealing with that. And when you look at the number of young people who are not back at school, it gives some idea of how that really disconnected so many young people from the institutions in their lives that often help to give them supports and structures and relationships. So I just think that we need to do a great deal more to get with young people who are disconnected or disconnecting, and really do everything that we can to help bring them back into the schools, but it's also a service system. Young people feel very alone in the world, and I think a lot of families feel very alone. And so I also believe that we need to be doing more to outreach to families at the earliest point in time, when they begin to, really worry about their young people. You see the stories of young people that are getting into trouble, and the families have said, I didn't know where to turn. We need to, I feel, as a community, recognize that this has been a very, very hard time for people. And what's going on in the world, all the roiling in our political world, I think has a tremendous impact.
Hmm.
People feel more desperate, if you will, more angry. We need to surround, as much as we can and help connect them back to, a very loving and caring community that really exists.
One of the things that we discovered, and we're over here in Southeastern Ward 8, around the corner from Ballou. And on the show, every week we come up with just new and more programs that exist for young people to be engaged in. Sasha Bruce is one of those. The problem that I see sometimes is connecting the dots. How do we get them from point A to point Z? How do we get them there?
Right.
And and a lot of times we don't ask them what is it that they need. So, I mean, when you talk to some of these young folks, what are they saying to you? I know you talked about, them being lonely and isolated and disconnected, but what would they want us to do?
I think that they want us to make available to them ways for them to get job opportunities that they don't now have. I think that they want to have, as I said earlier, mental health services are, a really important thing. I want to talk about one of the things that we're doing that is so wonderful, which is that we have a group of young people who are our youth advisory committee. But many of these young people are now becoming hired by our program and some of the other youth agencies in the city. And what it has meant is that these young people with lived experiences are now utilizing that in behalf of their peers. And it is a tremendous thing to see this. So I feel like that young people feel very much like the world is passing them by, and what we need to do is to make those connections. As you say, we need to bring them to a place where their skills and talents and their perspectives are valued and honored. And I believe that we can do a great deal more of this than we are now doing. I mean, we have this group of young people who they call themselves the CURB, Cultivating Urban Resilient Brilliant young people who are doing podcasts that are meant to reach other young people, and are looking for ways that they can develop themselves and open up pathways for other young people.
That sounds really exciting. I mean, it's a creative side, and I think because they're so creative, and there's so many avenues to express their creativity. I think that helps as well, and I'm glad that you all are doing that program. But I guess on the flip side of this, your program needs support, right? And we're getting ready to go through a very serious, tough time in the city when it comes to the budget and resources. How does that fare for programs like Sasha Bruce?
It is really worrying for sure. We already have heard that there are some cuts that are coming to us. And, we are just hoping that we can continue to build friendships all around the community, to corporations, to individuals, that will help to bridge the gap. It is a very worrying time, especially when we saw a 12% increase in the number of homeless youth last year.
Wow.
So we know that there are more young people living rough than ever. And from my perspective, if we want to really impact chronicity and people who become just stay on the street for such a long period of time, and it really changes their lives completely, we need to start with young people. We need to start with knowing that the longer you stay on the street, the longer that's going to continue. So we need to not be closing programs. We need to be adding. We've got a lot of work to do.
Right. And when I'm not always one who likes percentages, because it sometimes skews what the real numbers are.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a real number that you could share with us about, the young people that are actually homeless or living on the streets, do you have a number you could share with us?
Well, we know that with the count that is done, that doesn't include the couch surfing,
Mm-hmm.
it's about 1,000 young people. With the number that does, it's about 2,000 or 2,500. And so, we don't begin to have capacity in the city to.
Right, as the only shelter for young people.
Yeah, we have
Mm-hmm.
there are other programs for 18 to 24-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Our Sasha Bruce House is the only for under 18-year-olds.
And how young are we talking about?
12, 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Girls and boys.
Girls and boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sad. It's
That
really sad.
The happy part of it is that we really have invested in working with families. And so we are trying to make sure that young people that are the under 18-year-olds are resolving the issues, if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't always, but it is many times. And so, we're really investing in that work.
And what are some of the organizations that you work with that help to support what you all are doing?
Yeah, there. You mean organizations that we're working with that also serve youth?
Right. Let's say for employment or job training or anything like that, or does that comes directly from Sasha Bruce?
Yeah, well, a lot of it does come directly from Sasha Bruce, but we we work with any organization in town that is providing something that our young people need and that we're not doing, or that we have a lot of young people and maybe we need some additions. Life Pieces to Masterpieces, the Latin American Youth Center, Smile. There are a number of great organizations in town that are doing great work, and we try to have a warm kind of handoff, for young people if they need programs that work with young people that want to do art or that want to do some kind of creative work. Want to learn about graphic design. One of our CURB members is really interested and very talented in graphic design, looking for places that she could intern. So, we're always looking for what we can do to enhance the work that we do.
And what about volunteers, Deborah? Do you need volunteers to support what you're doing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We love having volunteers. We've had volunteers sometimes as a group who will come and have a day when they will, work with us on one of our houses, trying to, plant bulbs and such. In fact, we're having a great event on April 20th, a tulip palooza. We have a group that we work with called Guerrilla Gardeners, and
Okay.
we have developed with them a uh, training for a group of young people, all of them with wonderful lived experiences, who are doing urban gardening.
Wow. Okay.
They are taking care of the grounds around our Sasha Bruce house, which is at 1022 Maryland Avenue Northeast. And on April 20th, we're going to have a work day. And so we're open to volunteers coming. And then we're going to celebrate also. And we're going to have the Duke Ellington School Band who will come and help to celebrate our volunteers. So we'd love to have more people.
That's fantastic. And what date is that again? April the
20th.
20th. Okay. It's a great way to celebrate Earth Day. Exactly. And to support Sasha Bruce. I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Is there anything you want to share with us anything else you might want to share with us before we sign off?
Well, I just want to say that I feel like that, the Washington community has so much to offer surrounding the young people that we serve. And it would be wonderful to see us hooking up with all of the other efforts and making it easier to navigate for young people, because it isn't easy to navigate at this point. As much richness as we have, it's complicated to do so.
So for those who want to volunteer, who have organizations that they want to support, how do they reach you? How do they reach you or Sasha Bruce? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, there it is.
Yep. Yeah. You want to just tell us what the best way to reach out?
Yeah, www.sashabruce.org will definitely get to our team of people who are, wanting to find new friends and helpers. So, please do reach out.
Okay.
This is a wonderful way for us to expand what we're doing.
Wonderful. Well, 50 years is nothing to sneeze at. I'm sure we haven't talked about the number of young people you've helped over the years, but I know it's been hundreds. I don't know. It could be thousands for that matter. Yeah.
It's thousands. Wow. We're serving 1,500 young people.
Currently?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Mm-hmm. God bless you. We're so glad to have you in the community, to have Sasha Bruce as well. Sasha Bruce Youth Works, Deborah Shore, thank you so very much for being with us, for all that you do, and feel free to come back, and maybe we'll be out to cover your event on the 20th. I'm gonna make that commitment, and then we'll see what happens for the anniversary. But that what did you call it, the Tulip Palooza?
Yes.
Right. I won't forget that one. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All righty, have a great day.